Hello Aries and welcome to ArcanaUniverse. This is going to be your predictions for the year 2024. We'll dive in and tap into your career, romance, and general overview of each month from January to December. Let's get started. Please remember this is a general reading, so only take what resonates. What's so great about this human experience that we're having is that we, at the end of the day, have free will. So if there's any message that comes up that you do not resonate with or you don't want it to happen, please remember we have free will and we can change it, or at least change our perspective on it. We do have cross watchers, so please keep in mind roles can be reversed. Wow. And drum roll overall energy for 2024. Oof, okay. A lot of messages coming through. So here in January, I sense we have over here the Tower. Looks scary, right? Well, there's going to be news that pops up that you are not going to agree with. You are going to, I see somebody here wailing like a baby. Could be you. I think it's you. Something that you put your heart and emotion towards, that you poured your soul into, is going to come crashing down. Why? Why, you ask? Is because it wasn't built on solid foundation. So the universe is going to give you an opportunity to start over from the bottom up, brick by brick. Yes, it can be very daunting. Yes, you can be upset and as if your world is crumbling down, but think of it as a new opportunity, a new chance to begin the new year. How I like to see it is, yes, technically in modern culture and Western culture, we can perceive January as the beginning of the month, but if you look at seasons, if you look at zodiac signs, we see Aries being the first, and that Aries season doesn't start until March, right? And if we look at seasons, spring is considered the beginning. So that's also Aries season as well, late March. So how I view this is that whatever has been brewing and happening in 2023, I think there is some level of conflict that has accumulated through 2023, and you'll see all of that kind of coming down in January. And we're going to get really deep and detailed here, so hang tight. This is going to be a long and detailed reading for you so that you can have a overview of what's going to happen in 2024. And if you haven't already, please give this video a thumbs up and comment if there's anything that you've been going through. Let it out. Say what's been happening in your life, and perhaps other people might resonate as well, and you might have formed some level of camaraderie. But so let's make this first spread here, the first 12 cards that I have on the table, the general energy. And we'll go ahead and pull the next card, which is going to be your career message. Yeah. So we have the World here, And that looks nice, right? That looks, oh, do I need to cover the titties? Anyways, so I see here that definitely there is some level of ending, but just as I mentioned that with any endings, the silver lining here is a fresh new beginning. So there could be a career ending. You may have been laid off, let go, or like a department closed, or there's some kind of that kind of energy that I'm picking up for January. Let's go ahead and give you an advice. Like, what do you need to, yeah. So we have the Six of Swords here. So just as I mentioned before about how to any endings, there's a new beginning. And I see that you will be walking away from the situation. You don't want any conflict. And so I see you moving on, almost being forced to move on by the universe as well. And the advice coming through is you just sometimes have to look at the brighter aspect. Did you really want to stay in that kind of toxic and in a place where there's no foundation? No. And the universe agrees. And so even though at first you may feel like, oh my gosh, this is a shock, like this isn't something I thought it was gonna come, but it was brewing. It's been brewing since 2023. And I see here that you are willing to move on, and that's the silver lining. And let's go ahead and tap into your romance. What's going to happen with your romance? Yeah. So I see that with the moon here, because you are so focused on your career and what has just ended, you may not be able to focus on romance at this time. So January, I just see all of this action of the walls, the foundation, the brick by brick. Metaphorically, it's no longer like you just have to pick up the pieces and move on, and will be willing to build somewhere else. And I see that you'll be focused with tending to your wounds in a sense. And so you don't necessarily have room for romance at this time. I see that some of you may have pets. Yeah, I'm picking up pet energy, but they, if anything, they are gonna be the ones to really come and be like, it's going to be okay, like show you affection and make you feel comforted. Or like, you know, people who you consider like companions, strong friends, stuff like that, they'll be really coming through. So let's go ahead and move on to February. So February, so general energy for February was the Knight of Cups. So I see that you are going to be moving on, going forward, keep the ball rolling, one foot in front of the other, going one step at a time. And I see that as headed towards love. I feel like you've been so focused on your career, you weren't able to give your romance a chance. So that's the general energy of December. So let's go ahead and tap into what your career is going to be like. Okay, so we have here the Judgment. Ooh, that's a little, right? After the storm comes the rainbow. So I see things progressing. And also remember, around this time is when the Lunar New Year happens. So I also like to mark the new year with the moon influence as well. So that could be I see like new beginnings when it comes to your career, a new opportunity. It is possible that people you may have worked with or your old co-workers or something like that, your old colleagues, they might reach out and be like, hey, like, are you looking for work or looking for a job? We would love to have you. Like some kind of energy like that where you're going to have a new beginning is what I'm picking up. So what is the romance? Yeah, so we have here the Three of Pentacles. And let's do advice. Ooh, Six of Cups. So definitely I get romance. If you guys have been dating, or I just see a lot of like dates and romance and love and a partnership, a collaboration, that kind of energy is going to come through. And the universe is really blessing you with this time of spending time with people that you care about, and vice versa, people who care about you. And the universe is really encouraging. Yes, you've been through a tough cycle, and it just so happens we have February, we have Valentine's Day, so you might have a Valentine's Day too. So let me know. Let me know when that happens, okay? Tell me about your hot, sweet date. So over here in March, we have the Ace of Cups. So I definitely get all that overflowing cup of love in a sense. And I feel like the romance is going to progress, and there's going to be some level of happiness and emotional fulfillment coming for you in March. What is the career? So when it comes to your career front, we have the High Priestess here. As you can see that, like, she is, remember this is, I'm just reading energies, and how I am connecting with this card at this time is that there's not much like huge movement that people can see right off the bat. But there's something brewing here. You are taking the time and the energy into creating something new, but you're not telling anybody about it. You're keeping it on the DL, on the down low. And I feel like you're in a manifesting kind of energy in the month of March. You just realize through your past experiences what you want and don't want. And so that's what I see for your career. Let's go ahead and see what is going to be for your romance. Okay, so we have here the Nine of Wands, and let's go ahead and pull the advice, the Fool. So definitely a lot of like ending and beginning kind of energy continuing through as we tap into March here. I see that the person you're connecting with, the person that you spent a lot of, perhaps spent Valentine's Day with, they are going to really push your buttons. I see that you really care about them to the point where you've become kind of possessive. You just kind of feel like it's you versus them, and you're kind of defensive. You just kind of feel like, I feel like you kind of passed the honeymoon phase, and now you're just like, you don't really have patience for the little things here and there that they do, and you kind of feel like they're criticizing you. And I just kind of see you being rubbed the wrong way in a sense. But the advice coming through here is that it's okay. Like, you're gonna have a new beginning. You are okay with being single at this time. Like, for you, the strong energy of dog or a pet energy is coming through again. And so you're just like, I mean, you don't have to have it. Remember, this is a general reading, but I definitely see like a pet energy in you. You're just like, it's okay. It's just me and my pet. Like, we're gonna get through it. Like, I don't necessarily see you being, at the end of the day, being stuck on a romantic energy. You're okay with moving on and starting fresh, not being in something committed if you don't want to. I just feel like you decided to just let things go, not hold on to things, but just let things go. So that's what I see for you in March. So in April, we have the Death card. So I see here 2024 is very much like the year of really like challenges. It's gonna really push your buttons and make you reevaluate everything in a sense. I feel like when I think of 24, like there's a lot of stability and foundation energy to it. So if you have been lacking some level of stability in your life, I feel like this is the year it's going to really push you and make you kind of wake up into what's important and what's reality. So let's see, what's the energy for career for you? We have the Empress, so that's great. Like, I just feel like so in March you were kind of drawing up an idea, a plan, and you were, I think you finally presented it to the world. Like, you finally made things happen, and so you feel more confident in when it comes to your career. What about for your romance? Ooh, the Strength. Notice how the Empress and the Strength card, we see the same figure. So I see that when it comes to your romance, you are going to be happy. You're going to feel loved. And I think the reason why that's happening is because in March, you learn to let things go. You learn to not hold on to things and not take things so personally. And so, what's the advice? Ooh, we have the Queen of Pentacles. So you may be dealing with an earth sign. They don't have to be, or somebody with strong earth influence in their birth chart. But I see here, so to kind of tie everything together, the Death card that is the overall energy for April is death and rebirth. With death comes rebirth. And so I think when you really let go, of your old ways of thinking, I'm getting like paranoia. Like, when you released that, you were able to start something fresh, something new. And as soon as, see, this is one of the reasons why the Death card, or like ending, is not always a bad thing, because when you release that, you're able to attract and bring about more abundance in your life. So wow, so that, and this happens to be, you know, between late March and late April-ish, you know, Aries season time. This is your birth season, right? Your birth months. And I think that's, it has, astrologically, it has a very strong impact during this time for you. So just know that things are headed in a better direction. We have here for 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, for May. So we have the King of Cups. So that's the overlining energy. So leading up to May, I feel like you are going to be emotionally stable. You're going to be emotionally fulfilled. And this is, you know, back in March, you're thinking, oh, like, I might even want to just stay single. But now you're thinking, hey, this person, this possible earth sign or someone strong with strong earth energy, they caught your eye. You're like, okay, this might be somebody that you might want to spend some time with, spend your energy, spend your emotions on, and get to know, and really consider them to be somebody that you're willing to be in something committed in, possibly. So what is the career energy here? So we have the Page of Swords, and for romance, Eight of Pentacles, and advice, King of Wands. So I see here for your career, you are keeping tabs, you're looking, you're doing your research, you're looking around, and you're trying to see how you're able to collaborate with other people based on what you know about them, in a sense. You realize you can't just work with anybody. So you want to know who actually shows up, who actually means what they say. And so you're being very observant when it comes to your career. Some of you may encounter, like, you might be mentoring somebody younger, and they may be kind of picking your brain at this time. And you know, you do want to kind of give them a chance, because you see a little bit of yourself in them. And so I see you kind of spending time with this individual and working together, in a sense, for your career. When it comes to romance, I see that you are trying to work. Like, yes, you are a bit focused on your work, so you may not necessarily have, like, be giving enough time to the person that you want to be with. But even though you are keeping yourself busy when it comes to your romance, you're at the same time, I see this like hiding your emotions kind of thing. Like, you're not trying to lay your emotions like all out on the table. And so you're going to, no, I don't want to say pretend, but you're trying to occupy yourself with work. And the advice here is that, like, take some initiative. Take some initiative, because I feel like this person is interested in you as well. However, how will they know if you don't vocalize it, if you don't show it, if you don't take action? And I feel like if you decide to put in the work, you know what I'm also getting is that this earth energy, this is somebody you may have found online, or you keep in touch with through social media, but you have your eyes on them. You do, but you just pretend like you're just working on yourself, you're working on your career. And yes, like, it's not necessarily pretending, because you are, but that's so that's kind of like the energy that I'm getting. But the advice here is that if you're attracted, say something. Be like, hey, I'm attracted to you. Or just comment, just be like, hey, you're looking good. Like, just put in the effort, put in the energy, and just give a little action, like have the ball rolling. So over here in the month of June, we have the Seven of Swords. Okay, what about for career? Eight of Wands, romance. Ooh, Ace of Wands. And for the advice, oh, 10 of Cups. So, okay, so that's the energy that I was picking up, about how, like, you're pretending, you're pretending to not be into them. It's carrying over to the month of June. So, but I see that when it comes to your work, things are moving quickly, things are progressing, and I see you being very busy. And I think it looks like in the month of June, you actually took my advice. You actually took action when it came to your romantic life, and as a result, you are going to get action. is what I'm seeing. So the overall energy, and I mean the advice coming through, is that what you give is what you get. So if you're saying like, hey, I'm attracted to you, hey, I want to be with you, like, you'll be reciprocated, especially if they're the one. Like, and I see that this person truly cares, but they want something committed. They don't want something fleeting. And and I think you acknowledge that, and I think that's something you would want as well. And what happens when two people are on the same page? Good and harmonious things happen. So I see them. I think just having that communication and being upfront and honest is encouraged here, because I can see that easily in the month of June. You're gonna just kind of, I don't want to say play the game, but like act like you might not be that interested, even though you are. You're gonna kind of play it, not coy, but just like playing a little hard to get in a sense. But again, what you give is what you get. And so I see that if you are committed, if you want something long term, you will get it. So let's go ahead and move on to July. We have the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, what about for the career? Oops. Ooh, 4 of Wands. What about for romance? Ooh, 9 of Cups. And for the final advice, yeah, Knight of Wands. So again, what I mentioned earlier about taking action, taking that action. So that's the advice coming through. So something significant is going to happen in July. I think when it comes to your career as well, you're going to be seeing huge level of improvement, movement, some level of commitment as well. So you may be signed on to do something, or you might sign a contract that will secure your work in a sense. But I see that things are going well when it comes to your work, and even your romance. Like, I feel like there's a lot of dates that I'm picking up. You'll be going on a lot of dates. You'll be feeling very fulfilled. You feel like all the wishes that you've made, it seems to be like it's coming to reality. And all of this just seems very divinely orchestrated. Like, this is no coincidence. Like, it feels like if you look back, everything that you have done, everything leading up to that point, it makes sense as to why it had happened. So even though the first half of the year seems very like a lot of ending, a lot of releasing, a lot of regenerating, and just letting past things go, and trying to let all the old baggage go, and trying to move on with less conflict, and just leaving the past behind, that is going to, you'll be rewarded. I see that. And it'll start really changing and turning for you in July. But the advice here again is do not wait around. There's no point in waiting around at this time. I feel like now is the time to take action. Now is the time to implement and bring to fruition all the plans that you have accumulated in the past months leading up to this moment. I see here for your August energy, we have the Page of Pentacles. So, and for the career energy, Eight of Swords, romance, Ace of Swords, and overall energy, Eight of Cups. So it's fascinating, like just pretty much exactly what I said is being brought up here in the month of August. You have an idea. You need to bring it to fruition. And I know that there is a part of you that may be very nervous and anxious about this career shift, career move. I see that you have a lot of stress when it comes to your work in August. And when it comes to your romantic life, there's going to be some level of truth, some honesty that surfaces. So it could be somebody like you and this person that you are romantically linked with. You might have an honest discussion, because I feel like in the past you were trying to be like coy or act like you don't care or like act like you're not really interested or attracted. But I feel like the truth is going to come out. And I think that's part of taking action and taking initiative into being open and honest about where you stand with this romantic connection. I see here the overall advice coming through is that, it seems to me that you've searched long and hard and far for happiness. It almost became like a soul spiritual kind of journey. And the advice here is that sometimes, you're not sure what's going to happen, but does that mean you stop living? No. Does that mean you stop going? No. And so the advice here is, even though there is anxiety, even though there is uncertainties, the truth here is you gotta keep going. And it's okay if you do have to take some time off, if you do need to go on vacation to recharge, your energy, your body, and your mental space. It's okay to do that, because I see here that what's meant for you is not going to pass you by. What's meant for you will stick around. But if you're not ready, then it's hard to keep what isn't yours yet. Okay, so for the month of September, wow, so we have Justice. So it's bringing into balance. Okay, let's see. For your career, romance, so we have the Sun, we have the Nine of Pentacles, and advice is the Star. It's so funny. It's like everything I've been saying, it's like it's being confirmed in the following months. And so if you take the advice, okay, just like that, your life is going to be happier, lighter. And when you find that balance within yourself and within your work life, social life, just life in general, work and life balance is very important. And I think when you realize that when you're mentally stuck when you're not able to move on, that keeps you stuck. Literally, like you're choosing to be stuck in your mind. And as soon as you release that, you are going to wonder, what was I worrying about? I see that very clearly happening in September. And the earth energy that I was picking up, you may be dealing with the Virgo in particular. They don't have to be, or somebody with strong Virgo placements or an earth placement in their chart. But I feel like you and them, like this is somebody who is single, got their stuff together, like they are abundant, and I feel like all they're missing is you. That's what I'm getting. And I feel like this can be a strong connection. And I think there's a sense of worry that you think this person might have other people. But I think that's just that worry. Like you're just worrying. And I don't think it's necessarily the case. So the advice here is try to be optimistic. Try to have a more lighter and optimistic and positive outlook on life. And I really see that your wishes that you've made is going to come true in September. But the main thing here is work and life balance, okay? Work and life balance. Balance in anything. Like, yeah. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead to October. We have the Ace of Pentacles. And like for career, we have the Five of Swords, romance. We have Four of Swords and advice, the Emperor. So for the month of October, the overall energy is that there is some level of a blessing coming in. Okay, there is a blessing coming in. And some of you, it might be a raise or an increase in your finances. But, oh boy, you had to go through a lot to get that, didn't you? Like, I think some people may have seen you in a negative light. Some people, like I just kind of feel like no matter how hard you tried, sometimes you can't please everyone. And I feel like you poured in your sweat and tears and blood, in a sense, to really work hard in what you do. But you were met with people who didn't agree with you or who didn't see you in the best light. And just be careful. Just be careful when it comes to your work life. Like, really just try to stand your ground. Lead with integrity. Don't fall trap to what other people are doing. Okay? Like, I know if some people are playing dirty, like, you can choose not to stoop down to their level. You can choose to stand in your power and not play. You don't have to play that kind of game with them. You don't. And when it comes to your romance, I feel like because you are so engulfed with your career and your work, you're not necessarily giving your energy to the romance department. And a part of it has to do with the fact that you kind of need rest. I think this is where the whole balance thing comes through, because you're pouring so much into your career, because you're stressing out about it, feeling defeated, feeling like, yes, even though you see physical abundance and physical reward, you kind of feel like you did it in a not so tasteful way. Like it just came with so much like other burdens and other energies that you didn't want to necessarily have to deal with. And again, the advice here is just stand your ground and try to lead with integrity and be firm about what is acceptable and what is not, and whether or not you want to entertain people who are just a joke in a sense. Like I see an energy here that is just like not playing things fairly. It's just like making you do double the work, like stuff like that. It just doesn't seem pleasant. Okay, so let's go and move on to November. We have the Seven of Pentacles for your career, Ten of Pentacles, romance, Three of Cups, and for your advice, Six of Pentacles. That's great. I mean, I think in November you feel like everything that you've worked so hard for, it's coming. You're seeing the results, you're seeing the reward, and I see you making a lot of money. By the time like November hits, you'll be making a lot of money. And I think your career and your romance is somewhat like tied together is what I'm sensing, because as soon as you kind of left the October energy leading to November, I mean, I can see why, especially October can be such a hard and heavy kind of energy, especially due to Scorpio season. But I feel like as we enter Sagittarius season, like things will just feel more abundant and blessed. And that includes your career and your romance. Yeah, so you'll be spending a lot of joyous time in your romance. You'll be going on dates, going out to eat, drink, be merry. And the overall advice here is, it's again that the energy of what you give is what you get. So if you decide to like hold on to negative energy, if you decide to hold on to that, then you're going to hold on to that. But if you decide to put out their positive energy, you're going to hold on to positive energy. And so I really do see like a tie between your career and your romance. When career is going good, romance it goes well too. So it's a give and take. It's a give and take. And so it does say something about don't forget the little people is what I'm channeling here, the message I'm channeling. Don't forget the little people, the people that helped you all along the way. Don't forget them, because like I feel like you didn't do all of this like on your own. You had help. And so if you can help in different ways, whether that's like through donations or through your time or whatnot, like you just, the universe is saying don't forget to give back, because I feel like you've been there. You've been at the receiving end in a sense where you needed help, you needed assistance. And I think when you're in a position where you're able to give that back, if you're able to do that, to reset the balance, it's like what you give is what you get. So don't forget the little people is what I'm getting. So here in your December energy, we have the Two of Swords. For your career, we have the King of Swords. And for your romance, Four of Cups. And for your final message, final advice. 9 of Swords. So in the month of December, I feel like there is some level of feeling guilty about all the indulgences. I mean, that can be the other side of the coin in Sagittarius season, where you can be so overly indulgent that it may not be productive or healthy in a sense. And I feel like you really felt that. And so I see that you really try to block what is unnecessary. Some of you may be going on a strict diet, or kind of getting back in the gym, or putting more focus into yourself and the time. Yeah, I just see you really working on yourself again, because you just kind of feel like, oh, like, yes, you enjoyed your time in November, but at the same time, you kind of felt like it wasn't productive, and you're being very critical and hard on yourself, and really bringing that energy back to yourself so that you can focus it on your work. So I see here in your careers, that career energy, you're gonna do just that. You're gonna refocus, be more strict. I see you managing your time, so you're going to be focusing on improving your time management and being really focused is what I'm seeing. And as a result, again, I see a tie between your career and your romance. So as soon as you kind of like take your energy back and focus on your career, I'm getting like your romance sector kind of starts to get a little dry. And the universe is trying to be like, hey, you need to kind of be a little bit better about finding that balance, because I feel like the universe really sent you somebody very special, very grounded, loving, mature, and nurturing. And I feel like because you are in your head, you can be very hard on yourself. You just feel like if you don't get results, if you don't do things a certain way, you just end up falling into this pit of anxiety and worry, thinking that you didn't do enough. And the advice here from the universe is trying to say, don't get to that point. Don't get to that point. Okay. So let's go ahead and wrap up the reading. Wow. Okay, let's go ahead and wrap up the reading. Anything else? Anything else? For Aries. Page of Wands. Any final messages? The Hanged Man. 3 of Swords. And remember, we have the bottom of the deck at 5 of Wands. So I see here the overall message and the advice, the final messages coming through. Here it is. Yes, 2024 wasn't the easiest. You had a lot of ups and downs. You had a lot of conflicts. You felt like people were after you in a sense. Like there was a lot of competitiveness. People didn't want you to succeed. People didn't agree with you. They were trying to create conflict when it came to just dealing with you and being associated with you. And I think that kind of, I sense that was what was happening in 2023, and it really made its presence in 2024, especially like the first half of 2024. But the universe is saying here, the thing about you, what's special about you, Aries, is that no matter what happens, there is some level of a childlike innocence of, I'm gonna try, I'm gonna give up my best. And I feel like this is a very touching message because I'm getting like emotional, like I'm picking up the emotions here of, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful energy that no matter what life throws at you, there is this like young, youthful energy where you're just like, okay, what's next? Yes, there is this essence of like being heartbroken. You may feel like you've been dragged through the mud and people are really testing you and really testing your patience in a sense. I see that. But there is something about you, Aries, especially if you're stuck with me through all of this. And I hear sirens in the back. Okay. This is a very powerful message. Okay, somebody needed to hear this. I see here that 2024, 2023, yes, and what's going to happen in 2024, as I mentioned, it's not going to be rainbows and sunshine and bubbles and unicorns. It's not. And you realize that. But again, there's that youthful, hopeful, almost like Peter Pan kind of energy that I'm picking up, that even if Captain Hook is going to try to sabotage your happiness, like I see that through this spiritual growth, through this life experience, you're going to come out better. You're going to come out more elevated. And there is some level of enlightenment that you're going to experience in 2024. It kind of gives me like 2020 energy and vibes. And I'm sure, like, during the pandemic, it was a very spiritual and enlightening time, and I feel like this is definitely bleeding over in 2024. And you have grown so much. Like, look back to where you were and from 2020 to now. Like, you've come a long way, and I know you've learned a lot, and I feel like you've grown spiritually as well. You feel more connected with the universe and with God and your higher self. And sometimes just letting go, sometimes not holding on to your past trauma and hurt is going to really help you. Oh, I feel like I want to just one last final card, one final message for Aries. The Knight of Swords. So it's re-emphasizing your need to take action, okay? Your need to take action. And try not to shut yourself off. Like, you need to vocalize, you need to be communicative. And I feel like what you say to those people who kind of stood in your way, you're gonna come at them with your sword of truth, in a sense. You're going to be like, you're gonna confront them. I see the confronting energy here. So, but it does say, think before you speak. I think you have realized through past experiences, and like, even though you want to say what's on your mind, like just verbal vomit in a sense. I know you want to just be like, but the universe is encouraging. It's saying, it doesn't mean don't speak at all. No, it means think before you speak, okay? And try to see the pros and cons. Like, is it going to be hurtful? Are there going to be repercussions? But I can see here that whatever you say is coming from the heart. And the reason why you feel like you need to speak from the heart is because you've been hurt in the past. And I feel like you have the capability to be eloquent in a sense in how you speak. And so just be mindful. Just be mindful of how you communicate. And I think you'll be good. Just remember, I know, I just do sense that there can be a lot of heartache and pain that you may go through in 2024, but just know that you can always come back here. You can, write something in the comments or something like that. I do read the comments, and just please know, you're never alone. Never alone. You're not going through this alone. And the world isn't coming after you. It's not. You're just gonna have to go through this one step at a time. All right? So Aries, that was your reading for your predictions for 2024. Best of luck to you. Best of luck in 2024. And I'll catch you guys on the next video. Bye.